Well, hello everyone. Professor Oleander here, and figured I would actually made a video just a little bit ago and threw it out because went off on a tangent and talked about some stuff that really didn't want to go down the path of. It was talking about steam locomotive restorations, and one of the restorations that several of you know I was involved with. It wasn't anything bad or anything like that, but I kind of have a rule where I try not to pull the curtain back too much. And I really didn't. I mean, it's not like I gave out government secrets or anything like that, but I just said more than I wanted to. So we'll just pick it up from here. You didn't really miss anything. It was just mainly me switching some stuff and getting this train ready to go back to Silva, which you can see I'm double heading now. This is actually on the climb to Kawi. Yes, I'm fairly certain that is how that town is pronounced. Or, it's not a town, I believe it's a mountain. Pretty sure it's pronounced Kawi. I'm trying to get my headset cord untangled, so I have a little bit more room here, so it's not trying to kill me. So the dulcet tones of LS&I 34 getting ready to go up a 1% while I fix my thing, because the professional that I am could have done this before I started the video. That was actually why I was doing this. From here, anyway. I'm not blowing the whistle, that is the AI. He did pretty good on that one. He's just ever so slightly late, but a lot better. Okay, I'm untangled. So that was in the last update, and while we sit here and watch him go up the hill to fetch a pail of water, we will go over the patch notes, latest patch notes, which I'm actually, crap, go back, yeah, there's 100%, that's why I put a second engine on here, because I was running into issues where this wasn't enough, one engine wasn't enough, back up a little bit, they're a little out of sync. 2,700 tons. This is 1%. Get up here a little bit. The tunnel is like right there. But while we're watching this train go by here, the updates that just happened, that was one of them. Was the blowing for the crossing. Other one was that they changed braking forces, so you can go into braking force and you can set it to medium or low. I set it to low, and this is my opinion. I know a lot of people have varying degrees of opinions as far as this goes. I thought the braking force was actually closer to what it would have been during the era. So I think I've brought this up before. Back in this era, they were using cast iron brakes. The trucks were plain bearing. They didn't have roller bearing trucks at that time. Or I think there were some styles, but they weren't commonplace. Most of them had plain bearings. Plain bearings, they have oil, they leak. I've never seen one that never leaked, even new. The oil gets slung out on the wheels. The brakes get wet with oil. Cast iron, metal to metal, they're slippery. Cast iron, I know I've talked about this before, cast iron has to swell up. That's when your braking effort comes into play. I don't think he's going to blow for this tunnel, so... So the brakes being a little slick, because I've run cars that are from this era that still had cast iron brakes and plain bearings. They didn't have roller bearing trucks, and they are very slippery, especially once the brake rods and everything get a little stretched on them. They're out of adjustment, which this is a short line. This is a branch line, really, so it didn't have the greatest equipment. So yeah, they're not gonna brake all that great. So to me, it felt right. You can run the medium, that's fine. I'm not gonna look down on you, and I wouldn't say anything about it, at least not to your face. But that's just my opinion on how they handle. So yeah, that was added. The other one was that mines check for cars in the way between the empty and its destination before moving them. There was a problem where there were derailments being caused by, I think it was, the cars were spawning because of the way that they're handling what was it I'm trying to say? The way that they handle the loading of coal cars, because that's a gravity mine. It was causing some issues with like major derailments. So they've fixed that. This pulpwood train moving to 30. He's gonna pull down. This locomotive actually just ran out of water. That's why he's sitting here. And I couldn't figure out why. This was annoying. It actually happened when I was recording just a minute ago. I had just assembled this train and then went to move it, and it wouldn't move anymore. And I was like, why are you out of water? I think what happened, the AI got hung up where it was charging brakes. And this is a problem that I have seen a couple times, where the AI will set brakes and then they will release brakes, and while the brakes are releasing, it's sitting there with the throttle wide open. And the way that the game calculates fuel and water usage is, if the throttle is wide open, it is burning through fuel and water. I actually made a chart that's based off of some numbers that I got in game. It's still not 100% in terms of how fast these engines use water. And the thing that I found was these guys right here, the C25, mainly the G25 and the A26, are the most fuel efficient engines aside from these guys down in here. The Pacific uses a lot more. These two are pretty efficient. That 10-wheeler right there is pretty efficient. These two guys right here are really efficient, and then the Berkshire is efficient too. But you got to remember, the Berkshire has a lot of water capacity. Let me go up here and get him ready to move. I can go ahead and I can really clear him on down to Dillsboro, to be honest. This is 34 right here. That's actually, he's going to go down to, yeah, there's a Fusey sitting down there, so he's not going to go past. And we've got our passenger car sitting here. We've got cars down here that are being worked on. I'm not using tags right now because I haven't needed to. That get cut off. That was interesting. Hardwoe. Oh, did they? Okay, they limited the number of that. Was that in the patch notes for that? Limited multiplayer messages to 512. Let's see. I know it's in here. I just read through it not long ago. I know reporting marks were limited. There it is. Reporting marks and numbers are now limited to 6 levers, and railroad names are limited to 50 characters. I guess they whatever they did to whatever they did to limit the reporting marks and all that, it apparently changed this too, which is no big deal. I got to redo all these anyway. That's one of the reasons why I don't use them, is because all this is being changed. That's interesting. Apparently that doesn't work anymore either. Yeah, so apparently that doesn't work for the tags anymore either. They'll fix it all. I mean, it's in early access still. We've been chasing crashes because I started having crashes ever since I upgraded my graphics card. The game does not seem to like higher end graphics cards at the moment. They seem to be having the most trouble, and I think it's just because of GPU utilization. It seems like for whatever reason it's calling for like the graphics card to run wide open. I had a crash last night, and I've done some things to kind of mitigate it, but it still happens. And they've said that, you know, they're working on it. They don't have a fix just yet. They're trying to figure out exactly what's causing it, but they're working on it. So let's see, something else I guess I could show, and we'll do it on this one. You can change your railroad name now. Let's see. You do recharter, and then you do your reporting marks. So we'll just pick this, and then quotation, and we'll just change it to change the reporting marks on 134 cars. I don't know why it didn't change it on my locomotive. It might have been because I had it selected. Who knows? Why I'm getting phone calls. Anyway, so it changed it there, but didn't change it there. And I don't think I changed. No, I didn't. But I did it earlier, and it changed it on my locomotives. Did it change it on this one? No. It might be because I changed it earlier. But anyway, that's how you change it. And it just says that now we're called the Southern Railway. But we don't want to be called the Southern Railway. And I actually did this earlier, like I said. So I just changed this to... I had to fix something. I had a buggy poo. So we'll change it back. That way I ain't gotta go digging for it. And... sorry, I got a message from one of the guys I used to work with. Anyway, I can really need to send you back up the hill, don't I? Let's see, line you out and get you back up there. So I gotta go pick up logs here in a minute. Make sure this is all lined back up. Go ahead and send him forward. And then go up here and line this one back. So yeah, you can recharter. It used to be you had to okay, he's right way. You had to go and basically make a new save. That was the only way. So I'm glad that they did that, where you don't have to do that anymore. The other one, yay, they're loaded finally. So this is Walker. We're gonna go ahead and get these cars out of here. And I'll show you the two new engines that I bought. Got so much money tied up in locomotives right now. I'm up to 17. And I think earlier I had made the prediction that I was going to end up with like 25, and I think that's still holding true. These two locomotives here are going to get moved. They're not very well suited for this. I had hoped that they would work a little bit better. The problem is the grades here are just way too steep, and they're just not having a good time. Let me set that for 15. That way I can do the other stuff. So the other things: fix the overhead camera momentarily showing old position when jumping to it. The only problem that I've had with the overhead camera is it will randomly, and it particularly happens if you're in a heavily wooded area, it will randomly do that. Like it will, like I'll be moving and then all of a sudden it'll just do that. And I think it's just because it's hitting trees or something like that, and it just pops it up for a minute. Another thing that I don't like about it is it follows terrain, which is fine when you're down low, but when you're up like this, you see how the camera's bobbing up and down? And it's particularly bad when you're down here where there's a trestle, and you know you're going along, then all of a sudden you just bam, drop down. So if you're like trying to do a little, artistic tracking shot or whatever, and then all of a sudden you just, well, you didn't see it there, but if, well, this right here in general, how the camera just keeps popping around, that's annoying. Especially whenever you're trying to do something intricate. Not so bad when you're on the flat, but whenever it's moving around. Oh, the other thing with the camera is if you have your mouse over any of this down here, any of these controls, I'm right clicking now trying to move and it won't move. So that's another thing that's annoying. Another thing that they added was they increased the log unloading speed at Whittier Sawmill. It is about consistent with how fast the log cars load. So it takes about an hour or two. From what I saw, it was fairly consistent. So that's good, which means your payouts from the sawmill are going to be like uber what they were before. Stop. The plywood payment, or not plywood, pulpwood payments have been increased by 50%, which I will show you. So yesterday, I'm sorry, the day before, when I got my pulpwood payment, it was $14.85 and $13.20. Using, these are the same number of trains every day. It always gets changed once. So this is what it was pre-patch, and then this is what it was post-patch. So it only went up $200. So I don't think the payments are correct, because that should have been more than $2,000. Should have been closer to $2,500. But again, it may just been a fluke thing or whatever. Maximum tree density restored to 2. I have actually bumped it back down to 1 because it seemed like I was crashing more when it was set to 2. Because I've got a new graphics card now. I've got a 3060 Ti installed at the moment. And it runs a lot better. I'm running on Ultra. I'll show you what my settings are here in just a second. This one. So you can see I went back down to 1, and then everything else is pretty well maxed out. Running on Ultra. Don't need the UI scale. Matter of fact, I'm actually thinking about shrinking that down, just because it doesn't take up so much of the screen. Which they'll work on the UI at some point, but Right now, they're trying to work on core stuff. I was actually surprised that they added the AI blowing for crossings, because Adam's been working more on core stuff and bug fixes than anything else. So seeing they did something with AI, that was interesting. Turn the headlights off. Headlights tend to cause bugs too. There are some issues with shadows, which is one of the reasons why I'm not running with the tree density way up, because shadows do seem to be causing some performance issues. And the devs have said a couple times the game's not optimized right now, so performance issues are to be expected. Let's see. Fix the finance tab performance. There was an issue when you would open up the finance tab. The game would like lag severely for whatever reason. Whatever was causing the problem, Adam figured it out and fixed that. So that was good. I need to go and get the color code. Can't do it now, but I need to paint all these cars. I just haven't done it. I think that's fixed misaligned turntable causing chaotic derailments. There's been several issues with the turntable. I have not encountered it, but I know I've seen pictures of people that have, where I don't know exactly how it was happening, but it was like you could hit the turntable just right, and like the tender they won't fall into the pit. What happens is they break away from the engine, and then they snap back to the rail. And people have been able to swap tenders like that. I've tried it a couple times, and it's like, meh. At some point, they'll change some of that stuff. But anyway, that was a big thing that was happening, and that's all the notes for that. So let me go and see what we got. We'll wait for them to get to the end of the track. Let's see, there's nothing going on in Bryson. We've picked up everything in Whittier. I do need to couple him back up. This is ready to turn, to be honest, so we can go ahead and do that. Where are you going? What are you doing? The AI behavior is a little on the weird side, but it's nothing that I can't overcome. Why did I do that? That was the wrong engine. No, he's still running. Okay. Okay, he's still running. I clicked the wrong one. I need to get in the habit of shift clicking this. Is he already there? No way. Let me check that in here in just a second. Okay. Let me look. Where's 33? Oh yeah, he's already there. I thought I cleared them into the third. Oh, okay. I see what I did. Okay, you need to go. They need to go one more. I thought this was Dillsboro. I've got a fusee set up there. No, there's a fusee set up here. Okay, so they're fine. They're fine. He can come up to Cowee and do his thing there. Alright, let's go ahead and get you moving backwards. And we need to go and set this up for the do-si-do. So we need to set you to reverse. You're already reversed. And you're set the right way. Okay, so that's done. Then we go over here and get our log cars. And quite honestly, I'm not going to sit here and wait for him to unload one log. That's just pedantic. I don't even know if that's the right word, but that's the word that I'm using. I'm sure it is the wrong word, but I don't care. Alright, set those up. Yes, I know it's lagging, and it's probably because I'm using OBS and the scenery hasn't loaded in. I did notice that when I was recording earlier, that when I first jumped there, it lags just a little bit. And I think it's because I've been playing on here for a couple of hours. So there is a memory leak. It's very slight, but over time, the performance kind of degrades. And it's even more so because I'm using OBS, so it's more noticeable. But I am definitely noticing a lag. He's got enough water to make it up there. He's at like 50% or something like that. Let me make sure I throw this switch back. Like now the frame rate's coming back. Whoa, stop. Forgot I had that switch thrown. He'd have stopped, but it's just like, and you don't need to be going in there, you need to be going the other way. Go ahead and give him 25. One of the things that they've shown that's going to happen is you take an engine, you select where you want it to go, and it will actually switch itself. It'll throw the switches for itself to get itself there. It's going to be 100% a game changer because you don't have to sit there and babysit these engines. Okay. How much has Whittier got in saw logs? 30 logs, so he's still using logs. They haven't added, so there is an inventory that this has. The sawmill has an inventory for input, it has an inventory for output. We can see the inventory for how much it's storing. So it's got 30 logs including or in its queue to be processed. We have no idea how much it's storing as far as its output goes. And it's a bit annoying because if you don't know that they have a full inventory over here that's ready to go out, what happens is you put these cars over here, and if they have a low inventory, it might take all day for them to load. If they have a high inventory, it might take an hour. And it gets a bit annoying whenever you put the cars over here and you go away and you do something, it's like an hour later, it's like crap, they're ready to change. So unless you're actively like looking, you don't know. And it was really a problem down in Silva, and we'll go down there in just a minute as soon as I finish up here because he is ready to turn. We're going to call this the Whittier Shuffle. I don't know why I selected that. All I need to do is throw that switch and let him do his thing. Slow him down to 10 so you don't get too carried away. Make sure this switch is aligned. I just pulled the pulpwood train out of here, so all the switches are in the wrong direction. Throw that. Go ahead and take it over for him. So we'll couple this up, we'll send him down, get him ready to swap cars or swap trains, and then go down, run the pulpwood stuff around, run the stuff to interchange, and then this day will be done. And I'm actually surprised I'm going to get it all done before dark. But that's what I was talking about, is depending on how much stuff that they have in their inventories determines how long it takes them to load. So if you have a high inventory, they will load relatively quickly. Okay, he's ready. Go down here. Was he going the wrong way? No, okay. I thought I saw him rolling the wrong way. Alright, so let's take 34. And I need to put him on Manuel. Set that. This is another reason why I'm glad I had the tree density down, because it was a pain in the ass trying to move the fly camera around when the tree density was high, because the camera interacts with trees. So it's like you hit a tree and it was so hard to see sometimes. I think that was part of the reason why the camera was bouncing up, is it would like hit a tree or something like that, or hit some terrain or something weird, and it was just so much of a pain. Oh, where are you going? What was that? I knew I had a handbrake set. That's one of my coal cars, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one that's for here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order some more coal hoppers, and I'm just going to store them down there on the far end tracks. And then just as I need them for the coaling towers, I'm going to just buy more of them. Or as I need, load them up, and as I need them, just take them out of there and tag them for where they need to go, and just do it that way. So that way I'm not constantly tying up the interchange, because it seems like, particularly Dillsboro, I use more coal here than I use anywhere else, because this is the fueling point for the bulk of my engines now. Once I unlock the rest of the railroad, I'm sure it's going to move to Bryson. But like I had a hopper that was bound for Bryson, and then I got to looking at it, and it's like, well, Dillsboro's empty. I mean, the tower wasn't empty. The tower still had plenty, but the hopper was empty. I was like, well, there's no reason to carry it up there, because I got to have it in Dillsboro. Because like I said, today, when I turn these engines around, these two will get fueled. The 33 will get, no, that's 36. The 36 will get fueled when we do the passenger turn. The Pacific will get fueled. Basically, I'll burn through all this fuel that we've got. And that's just the nature of running steam. And I mean, it's a necessary evil. It's just how it is. I would much rather run these. I actually need to fuel these up now, but they'll make it. I think I had figured up it was going to be about 3,000. This is about the limit of what I'll carry with these, because they burn through so much fuel. The consolidations are just inefficient. No other way to put it. When I went through and did the calculations on some of this stuff, the Connies are just drink fuel like there's no tomorrow, or drink water like there's no tomorrow. There's just it's going to get tweaked. I don't know if they'll get to the point where the freight engines are better suited for tonnage than the passenger engines, but I just at least want to see the reversers modify how much fuel you're using, fuel and water. But there's 1100 in that one, 1100 in that one. Think they're gonna make it? I mean, I am right here. There's should be 150 tons in here. Yeah, this coal hopper, this was full this morning. I literally just put that here this morning. We've burned through there's 82 tons in that. We've burned through 60 tons worth of coal. Filling it up into the tower. Is there enough room to back up? Yeah, we've already run out of water once today, and I really don't feel like doing it again. So we'll just back up here and take on water and coal. And I think I had mentioned it. We ran out because I think the AI was holding the brakes, or was waiting for the brakes to charge, and it had the throttle open, so it was just sitting there drinking water. And I don't know that that's not going to happen again. Because what I've noticed is the AI will overbrake, and this is AI behavior that I've been noticing. They overbrake, and then because the brake charging is not the greatest right now, it takes a long time. So while the brake pipe is charging, they'll sit there with the throttle wide open, and they'll just go through water, go through water, go through water, go through water, go through water. And then the next thing you know, they're out of water. And you get no indication. One of the things that got added in the last route manager was they will do a call out when they get to 500 gallons. It will say running train whatever, locomotive whatever, is low on water. It's below, or water's below 500 gallons. I can't remember exactly how it says it. But that is something that it does. And Adam and whoever else is working on the game, they work fairly closely with some of the modders. So I'm sure at some point it wouldn't surprise me that that gets put into the game, where the AI starts making call outs and saying, hey, we need fuel. And speaking of the route manager, I'm probably going to quit using it because it seemed like it's been brought up before that the route manager might be causing some of the crashes. They don't know for sure. It's in alpha version 2 right now. So it's had a rewrite as far as the code goes. And there's already talks about alpha 3 being done. It was a very, very minimalistic script to begin with, and it was just something to say, hey, can we actually do this? And we could. So he went ahead and released it, and I've been using it, and then I think this was version 1.2, and it works fine, and it has the call outs, and I don't think, yeah, it's not on here. But I do know that there was one day when I was running, and it gave me a call out for, hey, we're running out of water. While this is going on, I'm going to go ahead and bring 33 forward. I'm sorry, 32. I need to throw the switch for him, though. This is always the one that's close on water, and he's got plenty now, because I went ahead and fueled him up this morning. I need to get in the habit, and it's been so hard to do because it's generally been so late when I get done. It's always so close to time for interchange anyway that I haven't been good about bringing the engines back here to service, because that was the plan, was once I got done during the day, all the engines that were on this end of the railroad were going to come back to Dillsboro, and they'd be here and service them and turn them around. And then all the ones that were on the other end of the railroad, when it was Bryson, was I was just going to send them all to Bryson and service them, and that way they're ready for the next day. The problem is I've had so much to do that it's been so late that I just haven't had time, because usually once the interchange opens up, I want to go ahead and get everything done. But here we are at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm basically done with the railroad. I mean, all I got to do is run the pulpwood stuff around and then go and get the we're 31 stopped here. That means that the log trains are ready to go. Matter of fact, I can't turn that switch from here, but swap out the log cars, the log train, swap out the pulpwood train, pick up the few cars that are left in Silva for the interchange, and then that's it. And then we're done for the day. And I really only need to get this train down to past here. Yeah, I'm noticing the frame rate drop now. Again, I'm pretty sure that's a memory. I'm having the memory run away. And it doesn't help that I'm recording either. Alright, that's good enough. We can go ahead and stop him. I don't know what my frame rate is, but it's pretty low. I think these are 8,500. Yep. And 6 tons. What do these hold to begin with? 12. So they've burned half. Yeah, just as well go ahead and fill them up while I'm here. Whoops. Wrong train. Yeah, we'll go ahead and fill. Yep, too far. There we go. That should be enough. And go ahead and fuel that. It's perfect for these C55s. And I know there's another set of engines that it works for too. Throw that back, and then make sure there's nothing over here. There is one more. I knew that there was another one somewhere. So we need to set a... Come on. That's not the foul. The foul... Well, this is a curve switch, so it might be. But the foul should be somewhere about right here. I think it's sort of like it is in Railroads Online, where it's like that's the end of this switch, and then the end of the switch is like right there for the turnout. So while that's happening, let me go over to Silva for a second. I know that there's cars here that are ready, but 34 or 32 is sitting over there, so it can't switch them out yet. That one's probably not... I'm not going to take these other two until this one's done, because there's no reason to. I already took the power cars. So yeah, we've just got this string of hoppers here that's ready to go. That's it. I'm not going to worry about the other ones that are over there. It's not worth the time to switch them out if there's one more that's going to go. So let's go and get the thingamadoo. And swap these. Finish up the Whittier shuffle. So we just need to throw that switch. And then that switch. That switch. That switch. And then you can go forward at 15. Normally, they will obey the speed limits in the yards. I have caught them, like here in Whittier in particularly, they will fly towards that mainline switch. If you have them set for 25, they will hit that switch at 25. Like he's doing right there. He's actually slowed down. I don't know how fast he was going. He's probably going closer to 20, but they used to fly at that switch. I never had a derailment or anything, but it was like, man, they're going way too fast. So I've just kind of made it a habit of when I set their slider, I'll just go ahead and set it down low. Set these switches behind them, so that way when I turn everything around in the morning, we're set. I probably ought to bring... I need to go over to Whittier and see if there's anything that's ready to come out. And I kind of want to look at something to see how fast. I'm gonna take a note of the time whenever I spot these. So it's gonna be about 5:16 or so. I want to see how fast they unload. So we'll say 5:15, and then when I get ready to finish up for the day, I'll come over here and I'll see how much is unloaded, because I want to know how much faster these are unloading now. So we're bringing 33. I think there was 30 in storage, 29 now. So that puts him, that's going to put him up to 62, which will be a little bit over 60% because it holds 90. This is some weird behavior too that I've been seeing with the AI, and it has to do with they'll creep up on fusees now. They'll get closer to them, and I've noticed that they creep a lot slower. They'll sit there and they'll just inch up to it, and I think that's one, like I said, along with the brake issue where they have the throttle wide open. I think that's one of the reasons why the water usage has gone up, is because they're trying to creep up to the stop. That's theory. I haven't really had a chance to test with it too much. Yeah, while I'm here, I want to go see what's in Whittier. Oh, he's already ready. I figured it was going to be. And how much is left in these guys? It'll be 2 or 3 days for those are ready. This one will probably be ready tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy while I'm here. I just dropped this one earlier today, and again, it goes back to, depends on what their inventory is or what they needed. I literally dropped this like 3 hours ago, and it's already empty. So I've been kind of lax the last day or two in terms of getting stuff done. Just because I've had so much other stuff going on with the holiday and everything, and I did take a little bit of a break from the game, so I haven't been as aggressive as I normally have been. That's why my income has been down. I think yesterday I only did like 14,000. Took out a bunch of money just setting up for future stuff. It kind of blows my mind. I hear it from people all the time. They talk about, well, they don't want to spend any money in game, and I'm like, well, you kind of have to. You know, they say, well, we're not making any money, it's taking forever, and it's like, well, you don't want to take out a loan. And they're like, well, I don't want to, you know, the one that I love is when people say, well, I'm trying to do it like I do in real life, I'm trying not to take out any money, and it's like, well, that's honorable. I totally get that. You know, I had to run up a whole bunch of debt whenever the pandemic happened, so I 100% get it. But, you know, this isn't real life. And I guess I probably should explain how I am handling monetary stuff in this game, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Get this engine over here. Should I do the narrow gauge whistle blow for this one, or we just go? I think they heard me. Stop that short of the switch or the signal. He's got plenty. Famous last words. Alright, he is ready, so let's go and get him swapped. I'm actually surprised that they haven't loaded yet. Usually when, like, as soon as he gets here, they're like rip-roaring ready to go. Back you up. Yeah, I have to turn that switch. Alright, since it takes you forever to stop, we'll go ahead and throw you into forward. And 25. That's it. And then he's ready to go. Yeah, that's actually surprising. Because normally, like, as soon as these cars get spotted here, they're like loading. So I'm actually surprised that they're not loading. Just out of curiosity. Oh yeah, these are loading. These are unloading a whole lot quicker. So we spotted at 16 after 5. So that's been 6 minutes and it's dropped 2 logs. So it looks like I would expect at 17:25 we're going to drop a third. So it looks like once every 3 minutes is when this one ticks off. And that's significantly faster than it was. All right. We need to go down here and check to see if we've got, all right, loaded. He's got water. We want to back up. That's something else that's annoying. It has to do, the game will like skip. They're not 100% sure what happens, but you just, I don't know if you saw it. I went to set the brake. I pulled the brake slider over and my mouse got over here and the game like ticked for a second and then it registered the mouse click over the throttle and then the throttle went open. That's happened to me a couple times where I've been going to stop and that would happen. And then the next thing I know, the throttle is like, wide open and I'm like, crap. All right, so these hold 12 tons and I think it's 1/10 of a ton a second. So it's going to take about a minute for that one to load up. And that, coincidentally, if you were curious about how much water, it's 40 gallons a second. I think is what that ended up being. How much is in there? 15.3, 148. I'm waiting for it to cycle again so that way I can... It looks like the coaling tower is like 1-to-1. How fast is this pulling? I know the conveyor is slower. It actually empties the conveyor faster than it can empty the car. And this one is kind of the same way. It's emptying just a little bit faster. So that's something that they're going to work on too, is getting that done here. I said 60 seconds. It's almost done. There we go. All right, let's get you coupled back up. One of the things I meant to do was go up to Silva while I was there and set the fusee for the interchange. Or actually, not the interchange, because we got to pick up in Silva. This train is 450 tons, which means these are 225 apiece. That's something I need to do as well as get the loaded weight for every locomotive, so that way I can figure out my train tonnage. Because I'm going to need it here before too much longer. So these are 225 a pop. So one thing that I can speak to for braking effort on locomotives is my experience has been they tend to brake stronger than cars. Now I know some people have said no, their experience has been it's been a little bit different. The reason why I say that they brake harder, if you look on here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on one side. This car has got, or this locomotive has got 16 brake shoes on it. My experience has been these things will stop on a dime unless, the drivers are oily or if the shoes are worn down or whatever. But it's like they are ridiculously they will like stand on their head whenever you hit the brakes. It was really annoying trying to get it down to a stop because you had to be careful how much independent you used. But that's just been my experience with it. All right. Forward 30, and I think I need to reverse that. Okay, so that's set. 2960, and we said 450, so that is a 2,510 ton train, and I've still got more to add to it. Let's go over here and set my fusee up here. And we're going to pick up all this right here. And this train, one thing I don't like is whenever you select it, I was trying to see if it did it and I couldn't remember. When you select a car, it won't tell you how much the weight is. That's something I wish, if nothing else, just a little pop-up that says this string of cars weighs this much. That would be nice. All right, nothing over here is ready to go. Or was it? No, it's not ready. We need to get this guy moving again. He's here, so we can throw that switch. And as soon as he clears, we can throw the next one. And then I got to go down there and I got to set the fusee for him. I forget how many cars was on that train. There's probably had to have been close to 60. I've done some testing over a certain grade in this game, and the amount of engines that you think you need, it's whatever you think you need, double it to go over red marble. I mean, it's 4.5 in certain spots. Like I had a train, I think it took 12 Berkshires to go over it. That was in another. This was in one of my testing saves. It was just like crazy. You don't think about it, and then I actually sat down and did the math, and I was like, "Yeah, that's how many locomotives it took." I think back to Western Maryland had some really crazy train arrangements. I mean, there was one train going up towards Frostburg. I think the one that I always see had like 11 Pacifics on it. It just freaking crazy. Why are you not going? I guess he's wide open. There's not a whole lot of grade there. Or no, they're not even moving. Why are you not moving? Oh, Durr. They got a pickup. That's why they're not moving. Completely forgot. There's another pickup there. It's only one car, but it's there. This is a good time to look at them. So see what they've done? They're piddling around with the air and still trying to power break down to a stop. And see how the throttle's creeping back up again because they're trying to like inch right up to it. So they're just sitting there just burning water. So that's some more AI behavior that needs to get fixed. I'm just going to take a big old slug of air out of there. We can do that. This is one of the reasons why I don't like switching with my road trains, is because it takes forever for them to stop. And then it takes forever to build up the air. It's just, you wouldn't want to do this with a road train anyway, but I'm doing it out of necessity because it's on the way. It just saves time in general. Yeah, I don't see anything else over there that's ready now. It's just the one car, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Just making sure another one didn't get ready. Is that one closed? No, and I'm not digging out another one. So, and I've gotten that way too. The game at least gives you some leeway on the cars that go to interchange. Like you get the bonus, the delivery bonus counts for the delivery to the industry. You don't get a time bonus for the interchange. Somebody said that if you wait more than 3 days in game time, you get a penalty on your payout for delivery to the interchange, but or maybe it affects your reputation. I can't remember. It's one of the two. All right, let's get you off here. Our central of Georgia boxcar. I haven't even looked to see what cars we've got back there. So this is a 13-ton car, and that's empty. We'll add that to our 2,500-ton train. And then have all the tonnage, and then go pick up, what was it, 5 more cars? 4 more cars? I didn't mean to overbreak that a little bit. I was trying to take a drink of water. Let this build up here. I'm just curious, because I added some more reporting marks. Which handbrake did I set? Oh. Um, I added some more reporting marks here. I think I added NS, IC, NW, some more ICs, Clinchfield, New York Central. I might have added New York Central. ANWP, I think was in game. MEC was, FEC was, SNA. I might have added SNA. Oh, I definitely added that one. I think I added the CNOTP on here as well. Just looking to see what all we got. Yep. Air's almost charged. I'm specifically waiting for the air to charge so that the AI will not burn up all that water. A and W is one that I added. I actually need to add ACWR now that I'm thinking about it. Even though that's a more modern railroad. I tried to stick with railroads that were around during the era. There's another one. It's CF and YV, Cape Fear and Yadkin Valley. That was another railroad that they probably would have seen some interchange stuff from. I think I put the NCRR on here too because that would have been around at the time. And I think the ET and WNC is on here as well. Okay, let me go back and throw that for them. And they should get the highball. And set you for fun. And off you go. So while that's doing its thing, I'll set the switch for, well, one thing I do need to do before I run off is I need to set a fuzzy for that, and actually he can go ahead and go. Well, if I got a switch open, I shouldn't have a switch open. There wasn't anything in the block, was there? Okay, he just cleared. I was gonna say. Alright. So now he can come on in here. And while I'm waiting on him to spot, I need to go back up here and get this train. I can't remember if I mentioned it in this video or the last, where I'm going to start running the passenger trains. I'm going to start running these myself as opposed to using the script because it's buggy. And because it just sits there and it runs back and forth, and I don't want it to do that. But I did mention it in this video. The Alpha 2 version is going to have it where you can set the train to sit at the station and wait until it's full. I need to schedule these trains on a timetable. Like this train will run at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it'll run at 6, 12, and 6. And that picks up just about everybody because eventually I'm going to have 2 passenger trains, which is why that train is actually sitting there. It's not going to be run by that one. The 10-wheeler is actually going to run the Alarka branch. So this engine's sole purpose is he's going to run back and forth here to Alarka, from Alarka Junction to Alarka, because there's a Y here, and I can run him around on the Y. And there's a water plug right there too, as you can see. You got water. So the plan is have the 10-wheeler with, I think, maybe 2 cars, depends on how much the traffic is, to have him run back and forth, and then to have basically a duplicate of this train running back and forth between Andrews. So basically I'll have 2 passenger trains running in either direction, and then your little feeder train here, and then I hit all the stations. Because if you don't hit a station, and this is the way the game is set up right now, is if you don't hit a station, after you unlock the section, you take a hit on your passenger rating. And that was what happened whenever I unlocked this half of the map, or this little bit right in here, because I didn't pick up for Alarka and Hemingway, and I took a reputation hit on my passenger. It wasn't that major. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was just annoying. Alright, you are stopped. You got plenty of water and plenty of fuel. I've just about outgrown this train. That when you play this game, that is the thing you're going to discover more and more often, is that you are going to outgrow your motive power. And as I was saying up in Whittier, if you don't want to take a loan, you are making the game a lot more complicated for yourself. It's going to be more of a struggle if you're trying to do it, which if you want to play it that way, that's more power to you. I knew that in order to expand to where you're making money, you are going to have to take loans. You're going to have to get bigger engines. Like I said, I've already bought 17, and I've outgrown about half of my fleet. I'm trying to find jobs for the ones that I have, so that way I don't have to buy more. But case in point would be up there at Walker. I've got those 2 engines. I bought that Mikado tank engine thinking, okay, this one's going to work. And it does work. The problem is it just doesn't have enough water and fuel. It's like constantly having to stop. So I'm trying to find somewhere where it's going to be useful. And I have an idea of where I'm going to use it. It's going to end up being the yard engine at Andrews. But there's no reason to go ahead and turn around and sell it right now, because I'm not going to get anything for it, and then I got to turn around and rebuy it. So for right now, this is fine. But that little tank engine will end up being the engine that I use for the paperwood not the paperwood, but the paper mill. That's the plan anyway. I knew that at Walker I was going to have 2 engines, or else I'm burning up time trying to run back and forth. If I left an engine there to set up cars and to spot them, and then I have another engine that's running them out to stage for pickup, I knew if I did it that way, it would be a lot more efficient, and I can get the stuff out of here a lot quicker. Because now I'm going to have 20 cars of logs and 20 cars of pulpwood that are going to go to Whittier. I think that's about all the room that I've got right now to store them, because I've still got, my interchange stuff. As a matter of fact, I need to look and see how much room is actually there. While I'm thinking about it, East Whittier will hold 28 cars and 21 cars and 9 on the other. So there's just enough room there to hold all this stuff. I wish you could buy expansions for Whittier. A bit of a pain. Okay, so I need to take this train And it needs to chase the 34. So while he's waiting, I'm going to go ahead and get this fusee. I don't want to send him until I've got him ready. Okay, everything, they're out of the way. I'm gonna have him hold at Whittier. Or, why do I keep saying Whittier? Hold him at Silva. Now this guy right here, he's overweight. He will be by the time I get there. Trying to shove the cars back up into the tracks, he's overweight. This really needs to either be an 080 or a C55. I think that's, yeah, it needs to be one of these two. He can do it. It just, I don't feel like buying any more engines for there right now. All right, while he's underway, let's get you hooked up. I mean, this would have been the way that they would have done it back at that time. They would have been overloading these engines. They would have been putting as much tonnage behind them as they could suffer. You know, because you got to get your money's worth out of them. And they still do that today. You'll see trains that are overloaded. They put the bare minimum amount of power on them that they need. So you'll run into, you'll see trains that are just like crawling 10, 12 mile an hour upgrades because, you know, either that's all the power that they've got or, you know, that's just, they're more efficient. Diesels, especially if they're running wide open. Thought I was going to crash there. That was a close one. My graphics card's actually not screaming. Let me... It's not running all that hot, so... That was interesting. It hung up like it was going to crash, but then it recovered itself. Alright, let's get this squared away for him. I can go ahead and clear him through Thomas Valley. Because I've got that switch thrown, he's going to stop at this block. And I need to go ahead and set that back. Set that there, set that, and I think I need to set this switch over here too. I do. Okay. .34 is in position now. How long is this train? It is too damn long. I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit all this in there. I'm gonna have to come back with the 32 and pull some of this stuff off. Because if I don't, I'm going to block myself in at the interchange, and I don't want to do that. It's not the end of the world if I do, because then I can just shove everything over to Dillsboro, which I probably ought to do to begin with. But, you know. Where are you going? A lot of tonnage there. What did I say, 2,500 tons? And I'm getting ready to add... what am I getting ready to add? There's 5 here? Yeah, 5. I think... I don't even remember what those are a piece. They're 3 bays, aren't they? They're 2 bays. They're 2 bays. Or are these 3 bays? No, they're 2. So I think they're 25 a piece. We'll do those way anyway. Oh, be 37. So 18 and a half. The 3 bays I think are 20. Yeah, 20, 24 and 24 and a quarter. You'll find out here in just a second. So this is going to be like 100 tons or something like that. Did I not throw the switch? That is a problem that I've seen. Sometimes I'll like click on it and, or I may not have even clicked on it. I might have been distracted. But sometimes I'll click on a switch and like I'll miss the hitbox and it won't throw. And it's really easy whenever you get into a rhythm and you're just like go, 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 that you won't notice that it didn't turn. Which is one of the... that is something to be said about doing stuff where you're doing it all in first person. So, you know. Because if you do it in first person, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're gonna get it. So I was at 222, and we're up to 517. So this is almost 300 tons. So there's got to be some 3 bays in here, or these must all be 3 bays if we're that heavy. Although they appear just to be 2. This is a 3 bay. I guess that's a 3 bay too. It looks shorter though. Or maybe they're, well, one way to find out. Yeah, that's a 2 bay. It's noticeably shorter. Yeah, significantly shorter. So I wonder why. I mean, we were at 222 and then we were at 517 now. So that's 300 tons. Is that right? I mean, I'm just doing this thing here. No, wrong one. 517 minus 222. 295 divided by 5. That's saying 59 tons a car. That's not what it says. Or was I looking at that? No, I was looking at that. 37,000 and their 50-ton capacity. Are they loaded? Empty, 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 empty. I was going to say they all ought to be empty. That's interesting. Maybe I don't know. I'm probably looking at it wrong. Whatever. Tonnage is tonnage. Doesn't matter. It is what it weighs. So that's going to put this train at almost 3,000. Which... this might be the biggest train that I have pulled in this save. just off the top of my head, I know I've had 2,500 ton trains before. If this is over 3, then this will be the heaviest train that I've pulled on this file. Because I've done testing with heavier trains. I had a I had a 16,000 ton one on one of my. I was doing HPT, horsepower per ton calculations, and I was trying to, and it's predominantly for when I get to the point where we're going over red marble, because I need to know how many engines I need to go over a specific grade at a certain speed. Which, if you recall from run 8, my rule of thumb was 1 HPT will go over a 1% at 10 miles per hour. So if you use that ratio, you can, 3052. So this will be the heaviest train. As far as I can remember, this is the heaviest train that I've pulled on this save. And this is going to be... I'm curious now. I don't even know if these engines can start this train, because that's a 1.1%. I'm just looking at my handy reference here. Yeah. Yeah. The max for one... Oh, no. I'm sorry. That was just for one engine. On a 1.25, the C55 can take 1,644. So, the max is 3,200, and we're at 3,052. So we're right there at the edge of maxing out this train. And don't pay any attention to the road numbers, to the reporting marks, because that's supposed to be the train numbers, and I don't think I've changed them. Actually, I can look and see. What is that? 182. 182. Technically, this should be 142. No. 481. Yeah, that's right. Because Silva's point of origin. So that's right. 481. 182 is the westbound, 481 is the eastbound. So that's right. I did a thing. How do I want to do this? I need to make sure we got room, because I've got crap in here right now. These cars are a pain. These are the ones that are going out for fuel. And these are the cars that I spotted this morning. So what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have to spot half the train. And then I've got to pull straight in, spot whatever will fit on this one, come over, shove all this down, get that to where everything is spotted on that end. And then I have to come in here with the 32, grab whatever's on the tail and shove all that up in here. And then there's probably not going to be enough room, and the engines are going to have to stay buried. I don't want to do it that way, but because I should have run around it in Dillsboro, but I actually think that this is too long. 62 cars. And to go back to my map, I really need to keep this thing open. I just don't have anywhere to set it. I think the longest one in Dillsboro is like 40. There's Dillsboro. No, the longest one in Dillsboro is 28. So I'd have to cut it in half, which I could do. Actually, this whole train would take up the entire Dillsboro yard. That's how big it is. Alright. actually keep it under 20. That way it doesn't take him so long to stop. Is the pulpwood cars here? There he is right there. I can just barely see him. Alright. We're going to go ahead and get him started because it's going to take him a minute. Okay, he did get it. He's waiting for his air to release. So, they're not necessarily liking life, but they're moving. I meant to do this while I was over here. I'm going a little bit slower so that everything will load in. For that switch, and that one's thrown, that one's thrown. We want to do away with this fusee because we're gonna have to go deep. So we'll just wait here because it's lagging real bad. I really need to. I get done with this video. I really need to stop, exit the game, reload the game, and let the I reckon it's either the shader cache or something. Let it sort of get rid of the memory leak. As a matter of fact, let me, because I'm curious. Oh yeah, it's using quite a bit of memory now. It's using like 6 gigs or something like that. It's a 54% usage, which is relatively high. I think normally this game uses somewhere around 3. So it's time. This has been open since. It's probably been open for going on somewhere around 4 or 5 hours now. And plus I'm recording on top of that, so. I didn't make the financial report. So we did significantly better today. We did 17,009, almost 10, so right around $2,700, 27,000. And I really wish that the daily reports would be later. I wish they would just be at midnight, to be right honest. Because it's like all this stuff that I'm getting ready to put into the interchange is not going to count on today. The 27,000. And I guess while I'm doing this, let me talk about how I handle the financials. So, looking at how much money I've taken out, so $242,000. My cap is the cap that I have set for myself is $300,000. And what that's based off of is daily income. So the way that I treat this game is, or the way that I treat the economy in this game is, one day is a week. And it's just based off of how often these industries need to be serviced. Because most of them at this time frame probably didn't need to be serviced daily, particularly on a branch line. So I'm just treating a day as a week. So the weekly income is, we'll just say $30,000 right now. $30,000, multiply that out by 52. We're just going to say 1.5 million for the year. $30,000 is 1/52nd of my take. So if I say 300,000, let me just do the math here. It should be almost quarterly. Oops, wrong way. Oops, that's too many. Oh, why that did that? Yeah. So 300,000 is 20% of 1.5 million, which is basically that's my quarterly income, if you want to look at it like that. I don't want my loan amount to exceed 1/4 of my income. You get what I'm saying? So my personal cap right now is $300,000. And it's sort of what the game is doing. I don't know what their formula is to figure out how much money you can actually save, or how much money you can actually borrow, but I'm sure it's something very similar to that. So that's sort of where my head is in it, that I won't borrow more than 1/4 of what I make, what my theoretical yearly income would be. So we made, what, $986 on, how many cars did I spot? I don't even know. Not quite half. So probably, how many cars is this? It's 20 something, I think. Yeah, because I think this whole interchange is 60. So let's split this off right here. That 38. How many were there? There were 60. Let me set another handbrake just so they don't bump out. So yeah, basically half of what we put in there. Near about half. So the interchange will hold all of it. Let me just make sure we're not going to run out of track up here. Oh no, we're not. We got plenty. Plenty of room. I just don't want to get too carried away here with speed. You know, some people are wanting to count it out to where it's 365 days a year. I'm not going to be like that. That's probably, I think that'll clear. We'll find out. The collision models on some of these cars is a little off. And I want to say box cars and hoppers are not included. Tank cars will. The collision model on the tank cars is a little off. I've actually went by fouling points where they weren't even this close, and the tank car took damage because it was, according to the game, it was too close. I don't want to get too carried away with this. Looks like that's going to go by. Yeah. Early access, so. And actually, to save some damage, we're going to make sure that these are released. That's a little trick if you don't want to damage your cars too much. Just release the handbrake and just let it roll. I don't know that it does it for sure, but I just do it so that it doesn't accordion the train so much. and you can just keep on rolling with it. Come here. There we go. I wanted the extra braking effort. So now I got to go up here, and I'm just going to let the, well, I can't let the AI. I got to go back here and throw the switch. And I need to make sure. Where's my pulpwood train? Why are you not moving? You've got a signal. That's weird. I mean, he had the signal. So I'm going to let him come up here, and then I've got enough room. I just want to make sure. That was, I don't know if you saw that, but the camera popped up there when it was right in front of that tree. Alright, let's do 10. So yeah, going back to the financials, the spot's right here. That's sort of the benchmark. So I'll borrow up to about 300,000, and then that's when I'll decide, that's enough. Like I said, I've still got more engines to buy, but looking at it, the current payment is $11,000, and it's paid every 5 days. Well, at $30,000 in 5 days, it's going to be $150,000 that I made, and I'm only paying $11,000 back. So even when you figure up the fuel and everything, I'm still making like $135,000. So it's not, not losing that much money. And that's just how I'm looking at it. And plus, there's not a whole lot more that I have to buy. Yeah, I've got to buy more cars and more engines, but there is a point where I'm going to reach where I'm like, okay, this is all I need, and then the loan gets paid off, and then it's like, well, what do you do from there? Go down to 5. Another car or so, and then go ahead and stop. I think about right there. That works. And then I'm actually going to cut. Let's set these handbrakes here so they'll stop. And I'm going to pull them away. How much we make off that? So that was $1,600. So right now, the 9, the 5, the 16. What is that? That's close to $3,000. What are you stopping for? Go! Oh, I bet he was, for some reason, his scanning was seeing that fusee. Okay, that's enough. Alright, let's go down here. How much is sticking out? We still got... How many is that? That's 3, 6, 9, about 12 cars or so. Where's my pulpwood cars? There they are. I got enough. So I'm actually going to stop him right there. Where he's here. 19 cars. Interesting. Where's he at? I must have had a switch thrown. I swear I checked them. Apparently I didn't check them good enough. Did I leave one open? Oh, I bet I did. I bet it's the one right here. I didn't come down here and check this one. There we go. Let me just listen. He might be too far away. Yeah, you got a signal. Have you got the same bug as the other one? Apparently so. So that's a little bug. And that's new too. I haven't run across that one yet. It might have something to do with the way that they changed the AI. It's like he just stopped looking. Since he's moving, I'm gonna go ahead and take that fusee off and make sure that I've got him lined and ready to go. So this train does not go here first. This train goes all the way in. It's basically the reverse of what I did earlier, which I don't, yeah, you guys didn't see that. That was in the other recording. But basically he'll shove all the way in to the last, he'll shove all the way into here. I'll cut off, put the other ones over here, go down to the P2, shove them in there, go down to P1, shove them in there. And then that's how that works out. So, and then the reason why I do that is when I get over here to the paperboard company, is I'll throw this switch and throw this switch. It's lined, and then we'll shove straight in, cut off, and then shove straight in, cut off. I could swap these, like, you don't have to have the destination swapped. It makes my life a little bit easier if I do it that way. And it's just been, as far as the AI is concerned, it's just been a lot easier just to do that than have a cut of cars, and then I gotta move them here, and then go in and tag them, and do all this other mess. It's just easier to do it this way than it is to try and do it a different way. So there's P2 all the way up to here. So basically those will get shoved in, cut it about right there, and then shove the other ones in. And out of curiosity, I didn't look to see how much they're holding. The tannery is at half. The paperboard company is at a quarter. And that's the other reason why I'm loading up so many pulpwood cars. So speaking of, I gotta go up there and get the ones from Walker. And then once that's done, I can send that train down to, you can send that train to Bryson. And then that goes to Bryson, and then I'll have an idea of how many tonnage, what the tonnage is on that one, and figure out what power-wise I need to bring that down to Whittier, because this is where it's going to get interesting, because I'm going to start running out of yard space. Bryson is not full right now, but I am using a significant portion of Bryson for various things like the coal tracks. Once I get up to tier 5, which I went up to tier 4 today, and at midnight I'll be at tier 4 for tomorrow, and then once the next day rolls over, because today is my 4th day, I should be able to go to tier 5 tomorrow. And from what I have seen, I think tier 5 is like 20 cars or something like that. It might be more than that. So far, I've been getting like 9. 7 to 9. So I'm thinking that it's over 20 cars for that. But basically, there'll be one whole track in Bryson that will be just coal. And I've actually got 2 tracks there slated for use for coal, because I figure it's really going to depend on how much. Wait a minute. Nope. Forward. Wrong car. Wrong train. UZ in the gauge. 33. Where's their fusee? Oh, that's the one for... I know which one that is. That's the one for the... I thought I pulled these up, but apparently I didn't. That was the one for the log train. I need to go ahead and get this one too. My little methodology for making life easier. Okay. I need to select this train too. Alright. Set the handbrake. That's been cut. We need to move forward at 10. And I'm making this video longer on purpose because we're supposed to get storms tomorrow. We actually just got storms the other day. We didn't get any damage out of it. But good God, everybody went to the store and bought bread and milk. I had to go yesterday to get specifically milk, and I had to go get bread too, and I go in there and I'm like, seriously? That is a thing, and I'm sure it's a thing everywhere else, but in the South predominantly, it's like, I don't know where the saying came from. It's like, if there's a storm coming, doesn't matter what storm it is. If it's a hurricane, if it's a snowstorm, ice storm, wind, whatever, everybody will go and buy all the freaking bread and milk that they can get their hands on. It's worse than it was during the pandemic when everybody was buying toilet paper. And I'm like, seriously? You buy, like, milk nowadays will keep for like 2 weeks or something like that, 3 weeks. It lasts a lot longer than I remember it when I was little. But I'm like, if your power goes out, the milk's not going to keep. You know what I mean? I mean, your refrigerator's only going to stay cold for so long. But it's like you're buying something that is a perishable when you really need to, if you're going to buy a liquid, buy water. Stock up on the water. Don't stock up on the milk. But it was just so funny. I went to the store yesterday, was going to buy, I needed a gallon of milk. All of it's gone. And then I had to go over and get a loaf of bread. All that's gone. It's like, people are just, I swear, it's one of those, it's one of those things that I wish would just die, where people would just quit going and buying the crap. Like, well, they say that if a storm's coming, you need to go stock up on bread and milk. And it's like, who's they? Who says that? I mean, seriously. Tell me, who is it that told you, you know, is it the Department of Emergency Services or whoever, who told you that you need to go and stock up on bread and milk if there's an incoming storm coming? Because I know that the National Hurricane Center will tell you if there is a storm coming, you should probably stock up on batteries, you should stock up on water, you should probably have some candles in case the power goes out for an extended period of time. You know, make sure you've got all your medications filled up. But I don't remember anybody in there, anytime that we've had a hurricane in the past, say, go buy all the bread, all the milk. The other thing that was really interesting was all of the Bass Farm sausage, specifically the mild. The hot, there was all the hot in the world, but specifically the Bass Farm mild sausage, all of that was gone. And that's like, so apparently these people are making bread sandwiches with sausage and milk. So they're like eating breakfast 24/7. I just thought it was funny. But we're supposed to get another one tomorrow. Tomorrow's is actually supposed to be worse than, was it Monday? Or was it Sunday? No, it was Monday. No, Tuesday, because I worked Monday and we didn't have a storm. But it's supposed to be significantly worse than it was the other day. I don't even know how much rain we got. I don't have a rain gauge here now, but we had, at a guess, we probably had 2 inches. 2 inches of rain. More wind than anything else. We never lost power. I had a couple times where the power flickered, but we never lost power. But yeah, I think it's so comical. People will go out and it's like people don't use their head when they go out and they prepare for an emergency. They just like, oh, everybody says you got to go out and buy bread and milk. And it's like, so I need to go buy bread and milk. And like I said, during the pandemic, everybody went out and they bought toilet paper. And I'm like, who told you to buy toilet paper? Who? There's no symptom of it that says you need toilet paper for any reason. It's just, oh my God. I mean, I survived Hurricane Fran, Hurricane Bonnie, Hurricane Floyd. I feel like I'm missing one in there somewhere that was another big one. I want to say Dennis, but I don't think it was Dennis. Hurricane Fran, we didn't have power for a week. It was like the power here was out for almost 4 days. That would have been in 94. I want to say that's what year it was. So around 1994, or whenever it was when Hurricane Fran hit, we were without power for 4 days. And then when Floyd hit a few years later, we might have been without power for a day. And then, I mean, we've had hurricanes hit since then, and the power companies here have gotten so good about it. I mean, it's like down to a science because the infrastructure is a lot better. I mean, you never really go without power for more than a few hours, unless there's like a massive thing. I actually happen to live not too terribly far from Carthage, which some of you may have heard. They had some people that went and shot up it was a substation. I can't remember exactly the part that they shot, but they knocked out power to pretty pretty substantial amount of people, and I think it was out for a day or two because they had to ship the big. I don't know if it was a big transformer or what it was, but it was just mammoth thing. I mean, they had to bring the thing in on a lowboy trailer. It was just massive, and but yeah, unless it's like stuff like that, the power just doesn't go out that much here. Now we haven't had ice storms in a while, and the weather predictions for this year is that we're supposed to get. We haven't yet. We came close. We haven't had a whole lot of winter weather here, but February is always a crapshoot in terms of whether we get snow or whether we get ice. And I remember when I was a kid, ice storms, we got ice like every year. We got it so bad one year you couldn't even see. I mean, we literally had like 2 inches of ice built up on the road. That's how bad it was down here. I tell people that are not from here, and I was like, yeah, I was like, it was bad. I mean, it shut everything down because we're not prepared for that much at one time. Yay, they all fit. See what the payout was here in a second as soon as I clear the interchange. And that is basically it for the day, and we're done by 8:30 or 6:30. I really need to run the passenger train to collect on the peak time. So what was that payout? 214. So 18, and then that's 14. So 18 and 14, $3,200. That's what we made off of that today. And that's about right because we were at 13,000. So between that, so 16,000. I'm curious to see what the pulpwood payments are going to be tonight because it's been being about 3,000 or so. And like I said, I don't think these payments are correct. So if we get 13,000, or if we get 3 out of that, that brings us up to 19. The sawmill, I expect we're going to get about the same, so it's 19 to $24,000 is what we should be sitting at come midnight once we get the rest of the payments in. And then tomorrow, because we're going tier 4 for the sawmill, it's going to be that much more, which, by the way, it was $80 a car to spot at the sawmill. And I don't know how much they were here. I think it's $100. I think each coal car that comes in, when you're at the highest reputation, it's $100 per car. Two more things. Bryson, I'm going to go to Ella, however you want to say it. I'm going to set a fusee right there. We're going to do this old school. It's like, as I said earlier, I believe the mod might be bugged. And we're just going to shove it because I don't feel like turning it around just yet. That's interesting. I don't know why he wasn't moving either. There's not a fusee back here, is there? No, there is. How about that? This train should be full. It is. It is full. Reverse gears and 45. And I need to set you... set course for fun. That should work. So get him out of here. And while he's moving, I need to go over here to Walker to find the Texas Ranger. And tell this guy reverse if I can get there before. Don't move yet. There's just enough room there for those pulpwood cars. Whoa! Wrong way. I was looking at the wrong switch. That's the switch that I wanted to throw. We don't want to go up that way. We want to go that way. I really need to restart the game because it's getting slower and slower, and I've seen more and more people saying that's a problem, is that it gets slower and slower as it goes on. Alright, now you can reverse. Go ahead and get him coupled up to this train, and I'm curious, I don't remember if I saw earlier how much this train weighs right now. 1942. We add those 9 cars, is it 9? Yeah, I think there's 9. We add those cars onto it, we're going to be right at 3,000, I think. I have a suspicion of what cars these are going to end up, or what engine's going to end up taking these cars out of here. I don't exactly know yet. That's a cool shot. Gives you an idea of how far up we actually are. Been on railroads that are like this, where you go through a whole bunch of horseshoes and you see how far up you've risen, where like the ruling grade is, well, not the ruling, but the average grade is somewhere around 1.125% or something like that. So 1942, remember the number. I'm going to attempt this because I haven't tried it since they've changed the AI. We're going to put this in yard mode. And I'm going to say come back 5 cars. They did change some of the logic behind the AI, and it looks like he's gonna... Well, he's saying clearance stop, so apparently he detects the train. Look at that! Look at that. So 2771, don't pay any attention to that because I've still got these 2 engines on here. And I'm gonna... Oh, this is so annoying. Alright. Pull forward about 20 and just wait. $26.08. $26.08. Let me pull out the cheat sheet. $26.08 over a 1%, because that's what Kawi is. Well, we're not going to Kawi. 2,600. Let me double check to make sure that there's... I know I did this earlier, but I'm going to double check and make sure that there is no grade between Bryson and Whittier. Okay. There ain't. So, Mr. Bond, these aren't going to double head. These are going to be the engines that are going to service. They're little 080s. I haven't really talked about them. These are the latest purchases. The trees are annoying. These guys are going to service Walker. So one of them is going to be the engine that shuttles back and forth to the yard. The other one is going to be the actual one that pulls them out. So it makes sense once you see it in operation. One stays back at where the loading tracks are. The other one will pull the cars out of the little siding there and assemble them up here. So I'm going to go ahead and give these guys the order to go forward. I'm going to keep them at 15. Yeah, 20. And I don't even remember what whistle I put on these things. It's one out of the pack, I know that for sure. So 44 cars minus the 4 here, so 40 all total, so we've got all of them. And I'm debating on buying some more log cars. I don't need the log cars as much as I need pulpwood. I need way more pulpwood than I need logs at this point. Those 20 log cars, in order to fill up Whittier, I need to buy some more log cars so that way that I have enough. I can split the train in half and have enough there. But all this does is it's buying me a little bit of time. What whistle did I put on these things? NEC 3 chime. I need to go down here and throw this switch. So they can come out, and then we need to throw the switch for this track that way. And I had assigned I did not assign a track for pulpwood. So we're going to take track 1. Which track 1, so that one's set, that one's set. So we're basically going to take our track here that we've got for coal. This will be the inbounds, basically. I don't know, 66 cars. I think this holds 28, so I'm just going to let them go all the way down. Yeah, I still got that fusee there. I'm just going to let them go all the way in. There they come. Oh, man. Walker is just such a pain because it's 3%. I mean, from the time... Actually, I think it starts down here. That's flat there. I mean, you look at it here, you get over that trestle, and I mean, it goes. I think it's a 1% right through here. Yeah, 1.8. And then it gets up, you get somewhere around in here and it turns up to 3, and it's basically 3 all the way up. And then when you get over to the switchbacks, it's like a 3 over them. And that's why I pulled these 080s. I was trying to make that tank engine work because it was small and I could fit more cars on the switchback with the tank engine. The problem is it doesn't carry enough water. Doesn't carry enough water, doesn't carry enough fuel. It was constantly going to have to be going back and forth to uh, Bryson. So it was just like, I'm not even going to. I don't even think there's a milestone for anything up there. I'm just looking. Yeah, there's nothing. The big old wood train here. And I'm trying to figure out the logistics of how to handle all this back up in here. So this side I feel like I've got a handle on. But this side over here, you get back up in here. You got these two on this side, and they load. What do they end up loading? The upper loads 20 cars a day. The lower loads 12. And you can see I'm not really making a dent on it. And this will load 20, which is what I brought. That's the reason why I brought 20. I need to bring 24. I need to get 4 more skeleton cars. That way I can basically max out what this is pulling out. I figure, I think it takes about a day to load up everything. But I'm trying to figure out how to make this work because there's not a whole lot of room up here in these tracks. I would basically need an engine to stay up here with this to babysit. Otherwise, I'm going to be switching, and then I got to go all the way down here. I got to go through the switchbacks, come back over here, and then I got to go over to the lower one, switch them, and then I'm just constantly running back and forth. And this is what is the grade here? I think this is 3% as well, or close to it. That's 2.5, and that's a 3. So I'm no better off, and these engines are just not big enough. But like I said, everybody's going to have a job. Make sure. Trying to make sure that we're going to fit everything in here. And like I said, this train will go to Whittier, and it'll take up both of the tracks, and then I got to figure out how I'm going to do the I'm basically going to have to use the yard lead for the incoming freights. I think he's going to clear. I'm looking to see if he's going to clear this lead. I'm pretty sure he's going to, yeah. He's got 4 cars to go, and he's probably got at least 10 to go up here. I'm just going to let him go all the way down. That way I can clear and put power on it. Which that'll be in the next video. Ah, crap. Stop. I guess whenever I came out, I forgot to throw it back. Anyway. So many switches. It's hard to see the targets whenever you're flying by, and even when you're flying by, look at them right here. If I look at them from this angle, you can tell the color. But sometimes when you're like up here, especially like at this angle, they look the same, and it's not always easy to see the points because, you know, when you get up here, sometimes it's really hard to distinguish whether they're flying the other way or not. No big deal. No big deal. I'm going to leave them. I'm going to let them charge up, and then I'll just throw the power on the back end of it and pull them back off. But that will be it for today. I guess I can go ahead and fill these back up with water. How much did they use? I'm curious. 8,000. So just coming down, well, I get it. They did use a bunch going up the hill. So they didn't use that much water, 1,000 gallons. So anyway, that is it for today. Tomorrow, this train will run out and go to... Oops, I need to go get Ayla while I'm thinking about it. This train will go out for Whittier, and it will drop all of its stuff, and we'll go from there. So, as this train rides off into the sunset, I will see you all in the next video.